Hello and welcome to Zelda Speedruns. Welcome to our coverage of the Link to the Past No Major Glitches League, Season 5. This is the Tower of Hera Division Round 1, a Round 1 match between Eriror and relkin, and your commentators for today, who can tell you much more about that than I ever could, are Clearmouse and Yerok. Folks, how are you today?
Yo, Tobias, I'm doing great. Yurok, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing well.
Oh yeah, happy Halloween! For those of you who might be celebrating, I was outside earlier, and man, the costumes were, there were some very creative ones out there. So hope you have a nice and spooky Halloween. Speaking of, are you ready for some spooky action potentially in Meyer? I'm definitely looking forward to some witches hats there.
Sure am. You know it. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, this is the NMG League, and the way that this works is it was an open invitation to everybody that wanted to participate, submit a qualifying time, and the format of the tournament is 3 rounds of Swiss brackets. We have 3 different brackets this time around, and so every week you get paired against somebody with a similar record to your own, and the winners go on to face other winners, and it just forms a binary tree, right? 8's power of 2 and all.
Yeah, very. Very, but, yeah, I do enjoy the math lesson as well. It's a nice and even, right? Very convenient, yes, of all powers of 2. The best kinds of brackets, actually.
That's right.
Yeah, and yeah, as you mentioned, so I think this is League Season 5. I cannot believe it's actually already been 5 seasons of NMG League. Really glad to see actually people continuously participating in, I think, what is an amazing speed runs. Lots of fun, yourself included, Yurok. I think you've really been powering through and like tearing up the leaderboards here. So really cool to see all the progression for not only for yourself but everybody here involved.
Yeah, I've really been enjoying seeing the activity in the community that the league has kind of fostered.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Lots of PBs over the last couple of weeks, and it seems like every league there's a new PB somewhere.
Yeah. I think it was Fox or somebody who was doing. He's the main admin, of course, of this tournament, and I think he said something like 11 personal bests were achieved, basically, for League Season 5 from all the qualifiers, which is amazing. Which is really, as you said, I know the activity has just really been really consistent. Probably even growing to some extent. Also including, I think, Eri and relkin. Eri, of course, former, I believe, world record holder with a very, very impressive 123 flat, of course, going into this. relkin has actually made quite a number of strides himself, clawing his way all the way up to a mid 124.34. I mean, extremely impressive times, right? And should actually be quite the match actually between Eri and relkin here. Fun fact, Eri and relkin have participated in all 5 seasons of League, this one of course included. They have never faced each other somehow. Like all the randomization, all the winning records, they've always been in the same division and everything, but I guess this is their first time going head to head.
It is indeed. So it should be interesting to see. Like you said, these are both very accomplished runners. I'm looking forward to a very hard-fought match. As we progress through. There's not a lot to talk about here at the start of the game. We're mostly just going from point to point, trying to optimize our movement as much as we can, because we don't have a lot of mobility tech so far. But
that you are spot on, yes. So despite Escape being probably the most played or practiced segment, there is actually probably very little, as you said, tech or kind of variants that you can probably, that you personally have control over, right? Of course, there is, you can do pumping, but primarily your movement is just going to be kind of isolated to the D-pad. There is going to be some enemy RNG probably coming up later that we'll probably just see, and hopefully in this case the ropes and the rats and all that stuff will be fairly friendly. But we're actually going to come up to probably one of the more technical portions of this segment, which is of course the ball and chain guard. Very much expected that both Eri and relkin win for the 8 slash, and yes, it takes 8 slashes to kill that ball and chain. They always make it look so easy, but it actually does require quite a amount of timing. You can't just spam your sword basically, because well, if you ever try it at home, you're gonna get lots of clinks. And given that we actually can see that the ball and chain does 1 heart of damage, if you are not careful, you can certainly take an early death here. which is not something that you probably want, even especially in a race setting.
Yeah, it's not the best way to start off a race, getting hecked up by ball and chain like that. However,
Yeah.
we don't have that problem. Eri did take a heart, but it's probably okay.
It's okay. It's just in preparation for the rat frames coming up. You know, if we're on too low of health, heartbeat frames. You know, at the very end, we could in fact use that to our advantage. You just have to have a little higher risk running. I guess. Well, sorry, walking. We can't actually run yet. To the back of Sanctuary.
Sorry. Oh, Relkin taking a bit of a nick there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Try to leave the basement.
Yeah, and this is
that guy does that. It's annoying.
Yeah, I feel like and you can certainly speak to your own experience here, but I mean, like, I feel like all of these guards, like, they seem somewhat innocuous until you start playing, and then they just seem to always be in your way. Like when you watch other people, you're like, oh yeah, those guys seem to always like leave those guys alone. But then when you start playing, it always seems like they're just up in your face. I don't know. That's my impression.
It certainly does work out that way a lot of the time. Yeah, we're just trying to go fast, guys. Like, why can't you just leave us alone?
I know, we are, yeah. Yeah, the guards are kind of one thing. So, I mean, there is I won't say a not so subtle difference between, you know, there are the guards with like the little daggers. Those guys kind of just seem to kind of move on their own, you know, not necessarily like homing in after you, but if you alert the guards with like the swords, like the actual swords, those, especially, for example, Castle Tower, any type of alertness that they have is really to your detriment. Like, you really don't want their guys' attention.
Yeah, the guards, when they aggro on you, are really annoying. Mostly because the guards with the swords have a hurt box that's just like... It's just always like out there and gets in your way a bunch.
Yeah, everything is going to get in your way. Actually, we're going to actually see this, and one of the things, of course, you know, we talk about getting the boots is our, you know, absolute top priority because we already been given a sword and I guess a fighter shield from our uncle at the very beginning. Boots are awesome, etc., etc. Never want to, you know, underestimate the power of boots. But in this case, though, coupled with that sword, the boots are actually give you a really great sense of offense and as by proxy defense. You don't have to try and like maneuver and like, you know, nudge your way around these enemies. You can literally just dash through them. They don't even have to die. You can just hit them once, and then you get a couple iframes from the enemies, and you know, you're good to go.
It is nice like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we have both made it through. Relkin gets rat frames. Let's go.
Yeah, we got some favorable RNG here. The rats looks like they're favoring Relkin. We might have a slight edge maybe going on here for Relkin exiting.
You will see, even though Relkin entered the door a little bit behind Eri, he is going to finish this text box faster.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least almost even with. Looks like we are both grabbing Sankart. This is a race. The fastest way to finish it is to not die.
That's spot on. Yes, probably an uncommon scene, especially for Eri to go pick up Sankart. But as you mentioned, this is a race setting. This is not a PB setting, or sorry, just a casual thing. Trying to get a PB. You know, if something goes wrong, knock on wood, knock on whatever hard surface you might have, you can't necessarily just say, you know what, I guess I'm gonna, you know, go to bed or, you know, start another run. That is not really an option here. So again, it's much better to spend the 3 seconds for your extra safety. Sankart, of course, is super valuable, especially when you're on low health. So of course, you know, the primary value you're gonna get here is in Eastern Palace. Maybe not so much in Desert because there's not gonna be too many things that would really kind of trip you up. But Hera, and especially for Helmasaur in pod, just like right there, you know, you are not expected to take a hit from the Octorok, but everything apparently here does 100 damage, so...
Yep. So it's just nice to have that buffer. I would add Turtle Rock to the list, because by the time we get there, we're going to now have 13 hearts instead of 12, and everything in the dungeon does 4.
That's an excellent point. You are also, yeah, you know, I didn't actually think about that as much. I mean, like, once you say it, it becomes very, like, of course. That's very accurate. We are not, of course, going to get blue mail as much as the defense would probably help many people. It is extremely out of the way in Ice Palace, and well, you know, if you are good enough and you don't take any damage, then you don't need defense. But you know, just in case.
I think it's a smash, right? Just the best defense is just don't get hit.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly true.
So as we move on through Eastern Palace, we got this pretty cool room where we do a trick to despawn a few skeletons and only kill the ones that we need to in order to trigger the shutter door, which is a fun it's a fun strat to learn.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, it's actually really cool to see because I mean, this is actually one of probably I wouldn't necessarily one of the first things you learn, but it's one thing that is very noticeable. Kind of depending on where you decide to, where you end up moving in that room, kind of determines where the spawn point is for the skeletons. And if you end up, in this case, spawning them in the right location, when they can't actually spawn in the room itself, then you don't have to. No, that's one fewer skeleton you have to go worry about.
Or two, yeah.
Or two, right? Yes, that's right. Now, I wonder for Halloween though, maybe they want a couple extra skeletons. But you know what? It is a race. You know, we do not want to give the other.
We got to go fast.
Speaking
of going fast, this is the big key room. We're gonna do this beautiful anti-fairy skip. They both get the pop throw.
Oh yeah,
right,
it looks
or the left.
Yeah, I mean, I
not
think
necessary, but it's always cool when you see that happen.
Yeah, I think this was also kind of brought up in chat earlier, where it actually does look like we're basically watching two very synchronized races going on. I mean, certainly, as you did mention, we don't have a lot of movement tech. We're still kind of short most things, but Eri and Relkin, doing a fantastic job, basically keeping up with each other here. I mean, like I know that these guys are so good, and it's kind of hard to just like understand, or it's hard to kind of accurately describe just how good these guys are because like they're looking like they're basically synced up with each other, right? So kind of have to tell like maybe like if one person's an edge over the other, but just because they are just so good and the fact that they're both keeping with each other just is a testament to itself to how good these guys are.
Yeah, I mean there's also a million things they're doing in each of these rooms that we could be talking about, but we could sit here forever and kind of outlay all of the individual movement like micro optimizations that exist in this dungeon.
Alright, looks like
very nice.
Yeah.
Zelda gamer room for both runners.
Oh, Relkin though, unfortunately. Well, I guess Eri doesn't. I spoke too soon.
Relkin is poor.
Got
They're both
poor. Oh yeah, Relkin is poor, but Relkin at least got the arrow drop, so that is. Oh no! Everything's fine. Everything's fine. We did not let the red Igor live for too long. I mean, you actually did see a slightly difference, right? Is that once the red Igor has got a little bit of time before it gets back to full health, and it looks like Eri unfortunately just missed that window a little bit, so we had to use 3 extra arrows in order to kill it. Sorry, 2 extra arrows, 3 total. Relkin though did the I would say more traditional quick kill, managed to get everything in one shot, and we actually see now quite the discrepancy between the arrow counts for Eri and Relkin. Not the end of the world by any means. There are plenty of opportunities to kind of find resources along the way, but something that as you mentioned, like there's a lot of things that kind of going on both mentally and physically, like in the rooms as you kind of go through the speed run. Just another thing to kind of keep in mind.
Yeah. Well, now we have the boots though, so
we have
all
the
of
boots.
That, you throw like probably 80% of that out the door, and now we just go fast.
Oh yeah, finally at the 11-ish minute mark, that is about the threshold in which you kind of expect in order to go get our fast movement speed. We can finally dash, we can finally spin speed off of the stairs. I actually just see that both, of course, Eri and Relkin getting that on the it looks like first try, right? Which is always realistic.
Yeah, it's always good. You don't want to be missing all of these movement tech attempts, as they just tend to cost time. There's another opportunity to do a spin speed right here as we go into this next screen transition. We'll see. Looks like Eri's for it. Relkin is not. So if Eri should have gotten it, saves approximately half a second.
Oh, dude, you see that entry into the library too?
So
like there
clean.
was, I know
So clean.
It is, man. I mean, so that is extremely well. Not okay. I won't say extremely, but I mean that is. If you ever try this at home, that screen could shake for eons if you're not careful. Basically, it's a very violent entry, and Eri just did it very precisely. So it was very cool to see.
Yeah, if you have super speed, it can be tough to get into that door sometimes.
Yeah, but definitely no worries. I think everybody even goes as you said. It's actually very difficult, and probably for the risk reward or time reward that you get, probably not going to be necessarily worth it unless you are, I guess, extremely confident, right? So,
right, both runners using the menu to the book right there to line themselves up for a dash, which is a pretty common strat. You don't want to dash through the water. It actually slows you down a little bit. So they use that menu in order to make the movement a little bit more lenient.
Yeah, no, that's actually really, and these are strategic item switches or menu buffers switches, I guess, right? Like, as in, like,
Yes.
you do have to menu to the book at some point, right? So you may as well, in this case, kind of use it maybe, you know, to your advantage. And as you said, if anything, in this case, maybe you can get yourself a little bit of extra room, movement room, in order to try and, take any visual cues,
you're
adjust
trying
yourself.
to stop you're trying to stop a dash where you're moving at 4 pixels per frame on a particular pixel. I think you do have like a 1 pixel window for that dash. I mean, you can nudge against the bush, right? But you want as close to lined up with the grid as possible. So using that menu to make it a little easier for you to see and react to where your position is makes it much more tenable in real time.
No, that's great. Yeah. Right.
Menuing in general, just menuing in general. Like I think there's a explicit purpose to the specific point that both of these runners will menu. I think there's maybe fewer than 5 menus in the entire run that don't have like a very specific point where you do it in order to make something helpful. Or there just isn't a good spot for a few of those menus, so you have to stick it in there wherever you can.
That's actually a pretty cool stat to know. Like, I mean, I just kind of figure that this run has been optimized for quite some time. I mean, like it just seems like the amount of room left for optimization seems so little. So it's actually really cool to, I guess, like to hear that stat. So, by the way, we're still really poor. If you
we are quite poor.
Yeah. So Eri, when he went through to the compass room, he killed all 3 popos. Nobody dropped anything. Relkin went through the same one. He got a 5 drop, but it was so far away that Relkin said, "Forget it. I cannot pick it up."
Indeed, that's that 5 drop is it takes a deceptively long time to spawn and then actually be grabbable. So it's usually not worth. It's usually better to just gamble on a room coming up here where we kill 4 popos and take another chance at another drop.
Do you think the red rupee is worth it if it's that far, or is just in general, like if it's that far, it doesn't matter the amount of money?
Yeah. So the reason that we're picking up rupees is because we need to pay a certain monkey in order to get into a dungeon.
The only one in the game. Keep going.
There we go. See, Ari just got that blue drop right there.
Yeah, so but Relkin! Oh my gosh, like all this. Okay, we've got a couple more popos maybe in the way. No.
No.
These guys.
Yeah,
you
don't get drops there.
Avoid,
now he's gonna have to get some in Hera or pick up the other green the other blue that the tree will give him after Tower of Hera, or get it out of the pot in Aga Tower. All of those lose approximately between 30 and 60 frames.
Are you? Oh, frames. Okay. That's maybe not as bad, but yes, it's still more than basically just like right in our path when the enemy drops it. Speaking of, we are in the best light world, arguably the best boss fight of this game. Eri, holy frick!
I think they both 2-cycled.
Yeah, holy Relkin! Oh my gosh, dude, not giving anyone a single edge. We got a dueling 2-cycle landmass on both sides. Amazing. Holy frick! This is.
I meant to ask you if you were looking forward to this, and then we were just all of a sudden there. So
I always look forward to both lanes. It doesn't matter if it's in NMG. You know, even though I know it's happening, it's also really exciting on Brando as well. Extreme amount of skill basically put on display. It's probably it's a very well practiced boss. A little bit of RNG involved as a later cycle skill. Like I think the first one is technically deterministic, but there are like 20. Yeah,
there's patterns, but it's pretty easy to at least get approaching half of the damage in that you need to for the entire fight in that first fight. Everything else is just like cleaning up little odds and ends. That's where the real skill comes into play.
Oh yeah, and to be able to kind of read like the spawn points and like hopefully try and work with where you think the landmos will actually like where they'll hop, I guess, right? And of course, you need a little bit of luck, right? If they stay in the air a little bit longer, that's certainly to your benefit, so you can get more hits in. But I mean, still very, very impressive 2-cycle. And this isn't seeded anything, by the way. There's no, it's not like NMG League last season where the boss RNG was fixed. This is completely 2 separate, games. Really cool to see, basically, this happening on both sides. Now, if we can only get the similar number of
we skipped past the scary part of the of the run. Relkin got stuck on the wall a little bit because swimming is awful.
Oh yeah, that's true. Swimming is arguably the hardest mechanic in the entire game. But as you did say, though, we did end up, we did see in this case they were swimming. We do not have the flippers. We also do need money to afford the flippers, but that money is significantly easier to come by. But until then, we're just gonna fake flipper and hopefully not get hit.
Yeah.
I hope that Deadrock doesn't get in Relkin's way. He's fine.
He might be.
He's fine,
He should be fine.
Okay, alright, okay, that's good. Oh
that
my
one
gosh.
though.
Yeah, I feel bad for Relkin. I mean, he's been playing extremely well so far. It just seems like the enemy RNG has not been as kind to him, you know, as of this run so far.
Zelda.
Yeah, exactly. All right, no large talk for both of them. It is even more painful, by the way, in this game to get that text box if you talk to the pink ball or the bully.
Yeah, it's like it's many text boxes. I should know how many it is exactly, but I don't.
Well, should you though? I feel like if that just means that you've had too many large talks, which we're hoping at some point to avoid in this game.
Clean boom dash on Eri's side. Relkin does the alternate version of the same overall strategy. So what we're gonna do here in this tile room, we got a nice little auto scroller section. Eri gets the earliest boom dash possible, which is always nice to see. The simple tech of pushing 3 buttons at the same time. We start a dash, we throw a boom, and we direct that boom right sideways while dashing to the right here. And we line up at a particular spot so that it hits the switch while we're dashing over the pegs. Easy. Easy game.
Yes, when you said simple and 3 button presses at once.
On the same frame.
On the same frame. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I do realize I have 10 fingers, so surely, you know, I have enough of them.
I hope my sarcasm was coming through there. It's a stupidly finicky trick. That's
yes,
you at least get multiple attempts at it because you have the entire duration of the room to try and get it.
Okay, that is fair. But yes, to be able to coordinate all of the button presses at once, as you said, on the same frame, actually be very, very difficult. Deceptively difficult.
Nice beetles by Eri and Relkin.
And Relkin, yeah.
Coming up, we have a little bit of a nail biter of a trick here. We need to get the Moon Pearl out of the big chest there. And the intended strat is to walk upstairs and change around the star tiles and fall back down. But we don't have time for that, so we're just going to throw a bomb here. Eri doing the YOLO early bomb jump. Relkin doing the slightly more sane walk up and put the bomb down and get himself situated against the edge.
I was told
only loses in a second, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I was actually told that the EVJ is maybe not as daunting. This one, sorry, the Hera early bomb jump was not as daunting as maybe it might appear. Some people were certainly still holdouts.
It's another one of those places where you can use a menu to make it a lot less troublesome than the other bomb jump where you don't have that luxury.
Exactly, yeah.
However, this bomb jump is much more punishing. Because if you fail it, you lose 40 seconds falling 2 floors down and having to redo a good chunk of this dungeon.
Yeah, but falling there, as you said, it's 2 floors worth, which is quite terrible. But speaking of not falling, we got Relkin and Eri actually taking down Moldrum. I think Relkin got 1 extra clink. Otherwise, very nice fights, certainly on both sides. Moldrum seemed to generally behave for both of them, which is really good to see.
Yeah, this is a tight light world. Eri's opened the lead up to about 8 seconds, which is not terrible. This is certainly within the margin that either of these runners could face coming here at the end of this next dungeon, because we have everybody's favorite sport, which is blue ball guessing.
Oh, sports! Like we're playing sports now. Oh, okay, maybe sports wagering. Yeah. Well, we did see like some really synchronous, Lemos fights, almost synchronous Moldorm fights. So if I'm going to extrapolate upon my 2 data points that I have, surely Aghanim will also be synchronous as well, right?
I mean that just stands to logic. Yeah. Relkin deciding to take out an extra enemy. The way that tree pulls work, for those of you who don't know, there's multiple tiers of them. If you kill an enemy and grab a tree and pull on it, it gives you rupees. And then if you kill more than 4 enemies, that prize turns into a different thing. If you don't take damage, you get red rupees. But if you have taken damage over the course of killing those 4 enemies, you get blue rupees. Which is why we saw blue rupees there. We killed a whole bunch of enemies, but we did take damage. If nothing else, then that bomb jump that we did in Hera counts. So that's where we get blue rupees from, and now we have killed... Eriror just killed his 4th enemy in a very elaborate, tightly controlled scheme. And now when he pulls this tree, he gets red rupees. Relkin's skipping the bird because he killed an extra one on the outside of the Lost Woods in order to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And so now 108 and 106 rupees, which is enough given the pipes that we will get towards the top of Aga Tower in order to pay for our passage into the Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, certainly very well done on both sides. And it's, as you mentioned though, like in order to get the tier 3 tree pull, right, which is the red rupees, you cannot take damage. And again, you don't necessarily think that things are gonna go poorly until they do. There were lots of hidden dangers that could have happened in Lost Woods. We can get like a bush bomb or something, or we can get a hidden guard. You could accidentally take damage sometime, and if you do that, when you are trying to set up your red rupee tree pull, there are backups you can do. It does leave you a little bit of time, like you do the tree pull in front of the castle, but again, it's gonna lose you time. So very important that they take no damage. Basically, also alongside taking no damage, we also wanted to have sword beams for the first couple rooms. I'm actually seeing in this case they're quite advantageous.
Yeah, we want to keep sword beams throughout this dungeon, actually, but it gets harder and harder to do.
Yeah, like this room right here.
This room in particular always seems to be something that causes problems. Right there, Eri got spotted by that bottom right guard, which is that can happen sometimes. That's not too out of the ordinary, but getting poked by him, never fun. Relkin just deciding to go in guns blazing and take care of all of the guys.
That's right. Yeah. So I guess one drawback to having sword beams here is that
oh
no, Eri, unfortunately taking a quick tumble. It is not. You only fall one screen's worth. You didn't actually have to fall to the one floor under.
Yeah, it still feels really bad because you get set at the beginning of the room.
Yeah, I didn't actually realize like how slow the screen transitions. Like the camera centers back, to the beginning of the screen until you actually go through it. It is significantly slower than you might expect.
Yeah, it feels the absolute worst because now you basically have to do the room over again, except it's different and you've taken damage.
All right, you talking about
circle of pots? Here's they're the rupees that we are looking for, and now we have to go through this catwalk room and boomerang one of the guards and use sword beams. So that actually for some reason costs us about 15 frames of screen transition as we're leaving the room. Oh no, Relkin gets to take a tumble.
Oh, what jerks, man! And you talk about a catwalk, man. There are no guardrails on this place, right? Actually, quite dangerous. And again, it's not necessarily about the damage that you care about. It is about the time you have to spend going, waiting for the camera to scroll yourself back to the beginning of the screen and then doing basically the room over again.
Yeah, right. But we've made it through, and now we get to fight Aghanim the Wizard. And this, as we mentioned before, this is potentially the great equalizer of the Light World.
All right, we got one on Eri's side.
Each of these blue ball attacks just is 6 seconds of pure time loss. So that's always fun.
And not controllable. There's nothing you can do to try and manipulate this. You just, basically take your luck and hope that it's not going to be, too painful. And I think, right, it's so first shot you get every Aghanim pattern is 5 rounds per cycle. So the first one's always guaranteed to be an energy shot. The next 3 are 50-50. And then the last one's always going to be a lightning cycle. So you just have to kind of hope in this case that you don't get that many blue balls.
Looking like one on Aries' side.
Yeah.
Relkin just started the second cycle. He also has one, I believe. Are we gonna do it? I almost don't want to say anything.
I hope. Oh,
let's go.
We there. We're there. All right. This is actually, so it's 1-1, right? Or was it maybe 2 blue balls? I
think it was one. I think it was one apiece.
Okay, well, no, that's exactly what you want to see, right? Especially if you want Eri and Relkin to show off their execution and make their run, basically, their run career here in the Dark World. That is how exactly that you want to see. You don't want to see, in this case, any race where one person gets 6 blue balls, another person gets 2 blue balls, and then they have to basically just make up, 30 whatever seconds, right? Just, kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah, and as Fox mentioned, that was a sub 29 light world on Aries' side, even with
ridiculous.
1 blue ball, which is
ridiculous.
Yes.
Eri is basically showing off his 123 skills here. Relkin, though, I mean, I think aside from some of the upsets that happened in late Aga Tower, and probably also in the Dark Maze, I mean, Relkin's been playing extremely well.
Yeah, mostly keeping pace, which is how his game plan for this, right? When you're facing somebody who has more than a minute on you in terms of PB, the only thing you can do is kind of play your game and kind of hope for things to go less smoothly on the other side than they might like. That's
And I think
you just gotta play to your outs, more or less.
Yeah, and again, this is a race. While of course, Eri in this case, the difference in their PPs is about 90 some seconds, right? Now, as you mentioned. However, this is a race. While I do believe Eri is extremely consistent in getting 123s, not all runs have to be extremely tight for even for him. So as you said, things can happen. I do have it. There's probably video footage out there somewhere, of Eri dying on Helma or other nothing. By the way, for the record, we do not want any of those things to happen. But I'm just saying that these are things that are out of your control, and especially for if you are someone who is considered the underdog of this race, as you said, play your game to the best of your ability, and I just kind of have to hope in this case that it's going to be good enough.
Speaking of your game, Eri has decided to go with the newly labbed out tech, rerouted this with the help of some people in the community. Has rerouted
with the help of some boots, yes.
And we're gonna see in case people weren't already upset about hovering enough.
Oh, he had a defective bomb. That was really unfortunate.
Happens. Sometimes, they just don't
cooperate.
Yeah, so Eri's doing all these keys a little bit out of order. We hovered there's the balcony over there on the arena screen where there's a chest with a small key in it. And Eri hovered into the railing and then across the other railing and grabbed that key so that he can then, as we come up here and go into the next room with Falling Bridge, where the big chest is, that contains the hammer. We're just going to kill this Helma, and we're going to attempt to hover into this railing right here. And then stop once we get to this spot.
Amazing.
Kick ourselves onto the tile, grab the hammer, jump off the bridge, and now we're done.
Eri is,
Meanwhile, Relkin's doing a wonderful textbook hammer jump. Fantastic. But not having to run into this dark maze, pick up this key, and mirror out and go back to the start and go through the entryway of the dungeon again saves about 5 seconds. So Eri is just extending his lead.
You talk about textbook performances, right? Relkin, I think outside of that initial defective bomb, Relkin's route here in Pod, or his performance has been very, very strong. Pretty much as you said, in his textbook, and then Eri.
340 statue time is just absolutely wild.
And Eri, of course, doing all of the. Jeez, I don't know if
he stops. This is a testament to how serious Eri takes this race, right?
He was also given the file name Hover God. I feel like you gotta step up, if you are put under that kind of pressure,
That's right. Yeah, Relkin getting a statue time of 350. Well, we'll call it a 353 because that menu is questionable.
I mean, well, I mean, like all the little things, of course, do still add up, in pod. And also along other place. Although it looks like Ari actually got some pretty favorable turtles. That room went quite well for him, which is great. And he is going to be first going into Helmasaur. Full health, always really
no
good
key
to
dash.
see.
Hate to see it.
Shame about turtles. Okay, sorry, Ari. No one actually.
Ari was not happy with his turtles.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he'd have some issues, but he cleaned them up without too much difficulty. Relkin having an optimal turtle.
Yeah, it looks like
that's good to see, saving time there. And that's really what this race is going to come down to. If Relkin can eke out edges in places that Ari might have lost time, that's how he's going to get himself into this race. I mean, I don't want to say it's not over. There's lots of really difficult parts coming up, but if things can, just saying, as things continue.
Yeah. I mean, so runs remain the Dark World. Helmasaur is the first of 7 Dark World bosses plus Ganon that we have to go beat. There are, I think it's always month to month who gets Ganon's MV Boss Award, whether that's Cold Stare or Vitreous. Those have been quite the run killers for many people.
For sure. Like we said, this boss right here in particular is not an easy boss, even with the extra heart afforded us by picking up Sank Heart. If only he knew Bitey Turtles. Indeed. Yeah, this pod is absolutely insane. A 557 is just.
Oh my gosh, Ari!
Ari
has no stop signs, no red lights. I mean, he's got the boost. Is it in Germany they have like the Autobahn that has no speed limit? Is that where he is right now? I know in like Montana that they have basically lots of highways with no speed limit, but it just feels like Ari is he is basically unstoppable right now.
Doing his thing. And so it's truly wonderful to see the game being played at that level.
Thank you, Tobias. Sections. Okay. Well, you know what? So this run also has sections. For the first 11 minutes we couldn't run, so that's when Ari really couldn't do anything, as well as Relkin.
Well, now that we finished pod, we're gonna go. We've got a few errands to run, real quick, or I guess an errand to run on our way.
Yeah, our main errand.
Our next stop
is gonna be later. Yeah. It looks like. By the way, so both of them are coming, going into getting the flute and going to Thieves Town with full health. Again, it's all the stuff that doesn't happen are the things you're thankful for. You might think, oh well, it's normal, to come here with full health because we have a sword and we have boots. So didn't you say earlier that we can just dash through all the enemies? Did you know that the Ropas are terrible and they could just lotto you and you could take 2 hearts for no apparent reason, even when you think you're under them or you've hit them? Yeah, fun enemy.
It does happen. It's a joy. It's truly a wonderful aspect of this game. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
I was a little worried about that Aries path that he took to clear that screen with his spin speed, but it was fine.
Yeah, and that is probably so. I think you mentioned this before. So there is, of course, that spin speed tech where you don't have to do them. There are some of them that maybe you don't have to do any spin speeds. You can just literally dash, through all the screens. It'll lose you a little bit of time, and won't be at the end of the world. This spin speed though, in particular, though, is pretty crucial. Like probably one of the few ones.
Arguably the most important spin speed in the entire game.
Yeah, just because you're watching that red guard, he has boots as well. If you hadn't been able to tell from his red armor, if you do not have spin speed, that is not you are not gonna have a fun time with that guy.
Yeah, he gets in your way. He's hard to deal with, especially casually when you're not used to like Link's sword mechanics. So it's much easier just to get him like that and make the screen kind of a non-issue. So, but now we come into Thieves Town, which is it's actually one of my favorite dungeons. It's
a great dungeon. I like all dungeons that let you dash, basically long hallways, to really be able to use those boots.
Yeah, it's got lots of really cool rooms and some interesting strats.
Yeah, Ari in this case.
Frame diagonally and cardinally. Yeah, it's gross how much faster they move diagonally. If you think you're safe,
That's
you think you're
cheating.
safe.
They're
but, like,
cheating.
they just go so much faster if they're moving at you diagonally.
So actually, as Link, are you not supposed to move diagonally? Like, does it cause more lag or something? Is this what I've heard, or is
Link
it only
moves approximately the same speed diagonally versus cardinally? But the guards seem to not have that restriction.
I see.
They just,
So
like,
okay,
just
so
home
they're
in on
buffed.
you. They just home in on you at almost a certain rate, and if they're moving almost perfectly diagonally, it's wild.
I wonder if they get that, if that's like part of the the Ganon training camp or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, talking about lag though. So Thieves Town, at least there are some screens. This one probably more notable than others. Tends to kind of really give you the impression that this there might be too many sprites basically on one screen.
Yeah, this room here, the attic, is really fun to just run in, drop a bomb, leave, make sure it blows up. Relkin getting a really good.
Oh yeah,
nice
nice hallway there. Yeah. Again, like when something goes right, it's like, this looks so easy. I can probably, let me try this, and then you go and pick it up, and it is. I mean, really
all you do is dash in the room and stop on the right frame. That's
oh
it.
Yeah, perfect. All you gotta do is press the button at the right time. Yeah, it sounds so easy. What were you saying again about pressing 3 buttons at once at the right frame?
Easy.
Easy,
No,
right?
kidding,
Easy. Yeah.
Sometimes
by the
it
way,
feels
yeah.
for sure. But it's the consistency is the difficult part.
Oh yeah, especially for for Relkin and Eri. We're actually watching. Again, like these are actually like phenomenal runs so far, especially in the race setting, and like. This is a testament basically to their consistency, as you said, like, again, it's one thing to have like a very low time PB in this case. It's kind of another thing to be able to achieve it, like your average time, your median time.
Area was appropriately zen for that conveyor with all of the berries on it.
Oh yeah, That room also is when something goes right. Again, you think is like a dance, right? Everything just goes swimmingly. You're happy. You get to move on to the next screen. When things go poorly, you know when things go poorly. Electrocutions, falling off the conveyor belts, lots of bad things that hopefully won't end up tilting you too hard.
Relkin also
nice job on Relkin's side as well.
Acceptably zen. Pretty good kill on Eri's side. Lost a little bit of time, but not a big deal. So let's see how Relkin does with this. Entirely predetermined. Nothing can ever go wrong in this fight. Very good.
Yeah, very nice. It is actually a scripted fight. As long as you do the same thing, Blind will do the same thing in reaction to you. So, after, of course, a good amount of experimentation and study, we figured out. Sorry, not we. By we, I mean people much smarter and more dedicated to this game than I am. Figured out the best way to
Speedrun is definitely a community effort.
That's true. That is very
fair
true.
to say that.
Yeah, over I think the course of several years, probably, and where the speedrun has gone. And I think again, people are still finding out things about this game.
It was all it was all DoomTap.
DoomTap, another fellow 123 runner. Very, very impressive. I remember, I think at some point he PB'd in 123, and then he got like a back-to-back PB. Well, it was kind of scary.
Craziness. Unheard of.
All right,
so
okay.
Now we finished Thieves Town. We have a better glove upgrade, so we can go rescue this dwarf that is trapped as a frog, Dark World, so that we can get a sword from him. Because it turns out he's a blacksmith.
Yeah, and he also has a hammer. Did you know that? it looks different than ours. I think ours is like a magic mallet or something, but he can actually do stuff. He can also get tougher for damage.
Big whoppers of some hammers.
Yeah.
I wish I had one of those. That would.
Yeah, well, I mean, you need something good in order to forge a whole tempered sword, right? Which I am
right.
told is one of the best items in the games. You know, I don't know where it ranks up to boots, but you know, we do have tempered sword, which is going to be the weapon of choice for the remainder of the game. We have rushed, in this case, the mitts, and of course, in accordance to tempered sword, we've actually done some dungeons out of order, just so specifically we can have tempered sword for the rest of the remaining bosses.
Yeah, it's very convenient that it works out that way. Blind is a boss that takes the same damage no matter what weapon you hit it with. So we just still have the somewhat underpowered, unfortunately, Master Sword.
Can you believe that we had to get all 3 pendants just for the Master Sword? It's all like the touted to be, you know, the sword of Evil's
throw it
Bane.
away. It's like
Yeah,
whatever. Look at this.
It's like, could you guys like forge me a better sword? It only costs 10 rupees, by the way. So I mean, so speaking of though, we more rupees. We ended up getting all of the 600 rupees that we got from Brewery and C-Shape House. And
Harry undoing any time save he might have gotten from his fence stash by bonking.
But we got the
as soon as
fence
he goes
stash,
into
right?
Skullwoods. Relkin, I didn't see if Harry got his, but it's fine. Now we're moving on to everyone's favorite.
The easiest room in the
screen.
game. See how easy it is? Those Gyptos apparently don't do anything to you if your name is Harry.
Apparently.
All right. We did get a little bit of a guard there. Yes, Relkin.
Yeah, not the most favorable enemy pattern, but
I've noticed that with Relkin. I mean, okay, like he didn't get lottoed. I guess that is a bonus, but it just seems like in general he's gotten some kind of rotten enemy RNG luck. All right, but here we go. Hopefully this case the Gyptos will also behave for the easiest room of the game. Looks great, Relkin.
Looks good to me. Maybe he'll get a slightly... Oh yeah, he can get through here and do the faster route. Very nice. I missed if Harry did. I assume Harry did the early bomb jump.
That is also what I assumed as well, but I guess I was not paying attention.
We were too busy watching to make sure
thanks,
Relkin was okay. We gotta watch out for our boy. Make sure his well-being is intact. Relkin's gonna do his hybrid early bomb jump.
Nice. Yeah, really got to actually see this kind of like.
I can't believe he got the slash off on that mold.
All right, so one benefit, by the way, is even if you don't necessarily have to take intentional damage, one thing that you can do is if you end up falling, in the pit, you automatically take 1 heart of damage, right? So one of the things in this case, we worked so hard in order to go get that tempered sword, despite Eri basically just giving up some free health to the Gyptos, is that we want to take full advantage of the tempered sword and not have sword beams, which is fighter sword damage. So while in this case, we may be at a slight health deficit, maybe not having as much of a buffer in order to kill Mothula with, hopefully in this case, like the faster you kill Mothula, the less opportunity it has to hurt you. Just like that, I couldn't even finish my sentence before Eri basically just getting a 9 out of 10 fight.
Most of the, or at least some of the damage was intentional. The extra hit by the Moldorm and the Gypto, not so much, but it's okay. Relkin also having a very good back of Skullwoods.
Yeah, really got to see that. And of course, using the spike in order to basically do, spike or gold sword damage to the Gyptos. We only needed 2 slashes, basically, hitting it against the spike versus the 4. Relkin...
Yeah, so we get... that should be okay. Alright, there we go.
Yeah, certainly still. Looks like that's, 7?
Missed the double poke at the start, but it was alright.
Yeah, that is what it looked like. You couldn't actually end up getting like the initial opener hit. But I mean, Relkin still did quite well, and I think probably to some extent using health is one of his resources. He had a lot of health to basically spare, and so we can basically just ram right up to him and hopefully get a couple extra hits.
Yeah, now that we're done with Skullwoods, we get to clean up all of the rest of the dungeons. And we get to start our first of several additional shopping trips. You mentioned the flippers earlier. Well,
that's true. We are actually going to go shop. Like, we're going to spend money. Oh, nice! Man, it's always so satisfying in order to get the shield clink. Thank you, Uncle.
Yeah, you love to see that.
it's not the best RNG, of course, because you do have to kind of turn around. But you know, that is one of the few times where the shield really, you know, shines. I know that there are arguably a lot of shield haters out there, but you know, it's really great to be able to see that thing, you know, actually be in use.
It couldn't be me. Shields are great.
No. I do actually appreciate the, as you mentioned,
Shield puts Swamp Palace approach in logic.
In logic, yes, I do agree to that. Yeah, you were actually talking about some strategic menu buffers or menu switches. Eri ended up actually switching over to the mirror. Basically, I think maybe he was a bit worried about getting lottoed from the robot because, you know, again, why you lose 2 hearts for no reason? I think he gave himself a little bit of extra room there.
Yeah, that is a lot of people. Relkin used the menu to ensure that he landed on the quick warp tile as he was approaching the Hyrule Castle gateway. Eri doing an alternative there to try and manipulate the frame rule so that he wouldn't get hit by the ropa, regardless of what RNG response it had.
Yeah. Yeah, really great to see. And again, you know, so while again this speedrun has been extremely optimized over the course of time, lots of contributors, but you know, you still play the game that, you know, you would like to have it played. There are some people who feel more comfortable doing certain tech than others, and you know, if that's what works for you versus some things that don't work for you, like, you definitely should play to your advantage.
Yeah, a lot of the differences in strats are usually come down to like a couple of frames, and so it's really a personal question that each runner has to ask of themselves, whether or not the consistency of one strat versus like it's really a safety versus consistency kind of question, which is the best value proposition for yourself.
Yeah, and it's absolutely fine to, in Nora's case, like take let's say it's a safer strat, get used to it, and then kind of, you know, work your way towards a more aggressive strat for sure. And that's how people improve. Speaking
again of useful menus, Eri just used his menu to the Fire Rod to read the Zora spawn RNG and determined that he did not want to take the usual route to the warp there, so he walked around to the other side and went in from the left instead. It's just another one of those things. There's just so much, like, it's almost institutional. It's just like baked into all of the screens of this speedrun.
Yeah, no,
Relkin did his a little late, and he was kind of committed to having to deal with his bad Zora RNG and used a Fire Rod shot instead.
So actually, which
isn't the worst thing, but like, you'd prefer to save that Fire Rod shot for the second room here in Ice Palace in case the berry gets in your way.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask. So, I mean, so Relkin is, because he used one Fire Rod shot earlier on the Zora, like, he is down 1 coming into Ice Palace. It's still
so
okay?
now he has to just slash the guy and just hope that he doesn't electrocute.
Okay.
Because you need all of this magic.
Yeah, there is no half magic available to us in this game. Half magic is on Magic Bat, and we definitely skipped over that mushroom multiple times. Oh no!
Did you just forget to... I think he just chanced the berry getting in his way and not electrocuting, which didn't happen, which is fine. I mean, he has time. Like, I swear, I don't think he's gunning for world record right now.
Like, he's certainly on great pace, though. He is on really fantastic pace. Relkin, I mean, also, like, he is also on extremely good pace as well. So I guess, like, on the personal streams,
technically
like,
on PB pace, so. Well, we'll see. I love that stair clip. I'm pretty sure, like, almost all the top runners are just maining that stair clip now, which is great to see.
Yeah, also great to see that.
It used to be a meme until we figured out how to make it, like, shockingly consistent.
Oh no, Relkin! A uncharacteristic, IPVJ mishap.
Just by 1 pixel. It's fine. We don't need that bomb. Just get past that. Yeah, just get far enough that the fire bar doesn't knock you in the pit.
Yeah, at this point, you know, while yes, health is certainly quite important because Cold Stare can certainly get very much out of hand. It's probably not about the health loss at this point. It is definitely about the time loss. Speaking of Cold Stare, very nice fight there on Eri's side.
Relkin also getting the stair clip.
Yeah, these guys know what they're doing. Yeah, as you mentioned though, you need the full amount of magic in order to basically break down a Cold Stare shell. There are probably like backups you can do, but again, there is it's this is by far the fastest way you're going to be. Relkin actually ended up picking up. He got a small magic decanter drop from I think one of the baris in the conveyor room. So
yeah, the top tier strat, getting good drops.
Yeah. Well, if only we could do that in like the early game, we wouldn't have been so poor.
Hey, sometimes that's the risk you take trying to go fast. All right. Also a good fight on Relkin's side. This is also one of the more dangerous parts of the run, and it's arguably the most punishing boss death that you can have.
For Cold Stare?
Yes, because not only do you have to redo the entire it's a very linear dungeon in the way that we do it. So you basically have to redo the entire dungeon from start to finish. You also don't have any magic when you come back to life, so you have to go find some. And whether that's like trying to kill the pickles outside for a full magic drop, if you haven't already met because of guards in Aga Tower, your alternative is just go on to Swamp Palace and use the end of dungeon refill to get your magic back. But then you still have to go back and do Ice Palace again, and it's like a minute time loss.
Yeah, actually, even getting into Ice Palace, even despite the fact that we have flute, you just flute to 8, you dive in the water because we got real flippers, you don't have to set anything up, right? And you swim to the, the very short distance to like the lake and get into the, I mean, it is, yeah, as you mentioned, it is like 40 odd seconds, probably to a minute, depending on, where you're measuring from. It is a significant amount of time to go back to Ice Palace. And you certainly have seen people, when they, exit the dungeon, hopefully you can kill a pickle and it'll give you some nice magic drop and then you can basically go back in, but it is certainly quite the time commitment.
Yeah, looks like we don't have a route divergence here. Both runners taking the same end of game shopping route.
Yeah,
they'll be climbing Death Mountain with hookshot in hand to get the Ether Medallion.
Yeah, the spin speed that we did, I think, in Kakariko was the.
We're all done with those. We don't do any.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some people celebrate that is the last spin speed they have to do for the entirety of the run. I believe that is very much the case for both Area and Rogan.
It's all item dashes from here on out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and again, so this is something that you as a runner or as a player can choose to delay the hook shot. You don't necessarily have to get it immediately if you are comfortable with spin speeds using the sword. You don't necessarily have to come here. There are actually a lot of benefits for you to delay coming into Swamp Palace over basically versus going up and getting like the Ether Medallion and facing off against Death Mountain. But again, it's all kind of up to your preference.
Yeah, it's mostly the fact that Death Mountain has a tendency to just like chew through your health in unexpected ways.
Yes,
and the last chance that you have to get the Ether Medallion is right before Misery Mire, which is where we need it, and that dungeon has a tightly routed health as a resource theme to it. So getting hit on Death Mountain is extremely undesirable. Therefore, that's the primary reason that a lot of runners will choose to do Ether ahead of time. So in the comparably less health intensive dungeon of Swamp Palace, it's not as big a deal to take a hit from the cabbages and dead rocks.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, so yeah, we'll get to Mire, a little bit after Swamp Palace here, but yeah, as you did mention, Mire, of course, probably the biggest thing, the biggest resource you have available is your health. Of course, not only of course for the boss itself, also for the first couple rooms of Mire. The room has been extremely optimized, basically with sword beams, which means you go in with full health. So another thing that you kind of want to make sure that you have everything going into the dungeon with you.
Yeah, there's a backup strat using the fire rod, but it does lose time, and you prefer to avoid it if you can.
All right, we have made our way over to left side swamp on Aries' side. Relkin is hot on Aries' heels to try and get to the big key, of course. And why did we work so hard? Why did the big key have to get in a location where it's not even faster to mirror back to the original location of the dungeon? We have to actually walk back to the big chest. It's better.
Who can say? I mean, it's got some charm. There's some cool strats in these rooms.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. So we got the hook shot. Eri notably has taken 0 damage. Again, not important for health and survivability because, as you mentioned, so chronologically, this is the 2nd dungeon of Dark World. We have like 5 more hearts here, or maybe not that many, but we have a significant amount of hearts, more than we're probably expected to be coming in here with. So it's not going to be probably the survivability, but the fact is, every single hit you take will take you out of your dash line, will take you out of the position that you wanted to be in. Every single nick, it basically means you have to restart your dash, so it's just gonna be a time loss.
Yeah, Eri remembering to single slash the berry there. The strat that we use is if the berry is electrocuted when you walk in the room, you slash twice and then walk to a certain spot before you dash,
really?
and that'll save that'll guarantee that you don't hit it. Otherwise, you just dash on through. But if you have sword beams, you can just hit it and it'll split it into 2 berries and they'll be out of your way.
Oh, that's awesome. Man, lesser seen. Normally, because Swamp is just tends to be very needy as a dungeon, right? You don't typically get to see sword beam strats this late in the progression.
Eric's still calling it a swamp.
Well, here we are. We're approaching Argus, and we did have a Argus is hard today on Aries side. Yes.
That'll happen.
All right. It is unfortunate. Still a very nice recovery, but we did end up getting the empty cycle here on Aries side. So not quite the 0 cycle, but we do, of course, have nice phase 2. Let's see in this case if Relkin can make up 8 seconds.
That'd be useful.
Ooh,
getting
well, Relkin, I think, was down 2 bombs compared to Eri. So he lost a bomb.
He had no bombs leaving Ice Palace, and you need one. You like to have 2, especially in a race situation, just in case you mess up spooky action at a distance and you need to bomb the wall to flip the switch.
It's okay. It's Halloween. Nobody will move spooky today.
Yeah, we better not.
Oh no, Relkin. Really unfortunate. It looks like Argus just really rushed both of them.
This is fine. We still have plenty of health. Yeah, he didn't really lose time there, even though that didn't look like in this fight. He still got out after the spin cycle.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's actually a good observation that you bring up. So Eri got the empty cycle, which is still the same amount of animation, right? All of the puffs, in theory, like go out and then come back in again. Relkin just had more puffs there, but he's still basically so we got to see a bunch more.
He still ended phase 1
exactly
at the point in time, effectively.
Yeah, exactly.
So now Eri gets to do what we call hook climbing.
No more.
Another one of those spinning. It's actually another 3-button trick.
I feel like those 3 buttons are like much easier though, right?
It's holding 1 and pushing 2 others. So in some senses it's easier, but it's also like a lot weirder thing to do with your fingers.
Okay, I guess that's true because one hand is holding and then the other hand is pushing buttons, right? That's maybe
it's all the same. It's all the same.
Oh, it's all the same.
It's all buttons. It's actually what we do to start the quick kill on Argus. It's the same thing. We do a hook speed, sort out hook speed, which is holding D and pushing Y and A on the same frame. And then you just shoot the hook shot in time with every time you get a poke on one of the puffs, you shoot the hook shot before you put the sword away.
Okay.
And it kills them all real quick. Yeah.
All right. You just have to hope in this case Argus is cooperative. Speaking of not cooperative, all right, Relkin on Death Mountain again. Not great, enemy RNG here. So he did take. He went back for and he avoided the large stock. All right, that is actually pretty important. So yeah, you actually see. You end up describing it earlier, right? It's Death Mountain has a real good way to take your health out for no reason, for its reasons, and we really want full health going into Myers. Relkin actually went out of his way to go get that berry.
Yeah, I think Relkin's gonna go ahead and go pick up the ice rod here as well. The super sweaty tryhard strat is to just accept that as that damage as a thing that can happen, and then you try and make up for it here with the crabs. So that's that one that Relkin just beamed right there. If it had dropped a heart, that could have been what he needed for the health refill. So it's perfectly understandable why you wouldn't want to rely on that in a race setting. It's just trying to do like you're most of the time in a PB attempt. You're coming into Mire with full health and you're expecting to just do that, and that's the thing you've practiced, and you probably are not as up on the backup strat as you want. And so just being comfortable, like we said, it's about racing is about consistency overall. So just like being comfortable with what you're doing is probably more important, and it's worth the extra second that he took to go grab that fairy.
Yeah, actually, that is actually a really good point. Is so he's again, Eri and Relkin probably have practiced Mire 2, with sword beams, thousands upon thousands of times probably at this point. And while I still have confidence that they are capable of the backup, but as you said, like if it hasn't maybe been as fresh, in or ingrained in their muscle memory, probably going to be a little bit more awkward, and could probably end up losing up more time than just taking one extra second in order to go get the fairy, and then just going, just autopiloting the room.
Yeah. Speaking of Mire 2, Relkin gets through. He is a pretty friendly Popo RNG, so gets through without too much trouble. I don't remember how Ares went because we were talking about other things.
Ares went spectacularly well.
Of course.
Even by regular, even by Ares standards, I think that was good. So, although I don't want to speak for him.
Ares with a comfortable 104 something stupid torches time.
Eri has played very well this entire run. Certainly was quite the hover showcase in pod, but I mean still otherwise though his performance has been quite good. Speaking of though, I did hear that there might be some rumors of an NMG boot camp that might be coming up, hosted by the one and only Eri itself. More details apparently, of course, to come, but I do hear that something like that is in the works. So you too
really
could be a 123 runner. Or, one whatever runner. Or two whatever runners.
Asterisk. I mean, it could happen. It definitely could happen. Just be upfront about the fact that it's a lot of work.
That is certainly true. But I think, it's not necessarily about the destination, right? It is about the journey. I think it really seems like everyone, basically who has contributed to, their own personal best to run this game, I think has, or more or less, certainly, probably enjoyed their time, right? Learning new things, getting better. Really be able, cool to see the progression, from people.
Even you, Blunt Bunny.
That's right.
All right, so we've alluded to a glitch called Spooky Action at a Distance for most of the run. And now we get to finally see it in action.
Yeah, actually be able to see it without the lamp. So
the eagle-eyed viewers among you noticed that Eri kicked up a bit of dust as he put down that Samaria block, and that enabled him to retain a specific value in memory that just so happens to correspond to the area of effect splash hitbox on the fire rod, and it moves it, like 12 tiles up from where the fire rod actually hits, and we use that to trigger a bunch of switches in this dungeon without having to deal with bombing a wall and all of that stuff, or going to the other side of a room. So that's kind of nice.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we got to actually see the sneak, when for the very last switch before Eri went upstairs, we got to see the switch basically up top, right? So yes, Eri did not have to basically go all the way up to the top of the screen, hit the switch, and come all the way back down. We're definitely not going to see anything remotely close to the switch, but you can just imagine the switch here coming up on Relkin's side. That he's
so we
going to
hit
hit
that spike with the fire rod, and it flips the switch. We go into the next room. We shoot the anti-fairy over here. That flips the switch on the other side of that wall above us, and then you can actually see the switch here that we hit.
Oh no, Relkin!
Oh.
It's okay, we still hit the switch. That's all that matters. We did not hit the switch. We did not hit the switch. Oh, that is unfortunate. Well, see, this at least you have a visual cue.
Sorry for cursing you, Relkin. My bad. And we get bunnied again.
Bunny beat twice.
All right,
no, Relkin, suddenly down to 5 hearts. I hope he's gonna be okay.
This
is doable.
Yeah.
Yes. So 5 hearts is the minimum that you want to have a quick kill Vitreous. 7 hearts is considered comfortable. Oh no. The iframes just ran out too soon.
Yeah, we got a little bit off script there in that fight. It's unfortunate, but it happens. It's not.
Oh, for
That's
sure.
not the easiest fight. It's actually quite tight to only do it 5 hearts of damage.
Yeah, and I actually think that the 5-heart version, you have to be faster than the 7-heart version. I mean, like you can still have health left over, but I think you have to be. I think
Yeah, you
Rogan
have
said something
to
about
take
faster.
risks with the eyeball aggro pattern, in order to get in and out of the goop, and only take 4 hearts. You can just the path that you want to take, and can just like jump into your path and kill you. So it's a little tough. And Relkin tried to stay outside of that, and wasn't fast enough to. You got like that, especially that last hit. You have to like it's kind of like the first one. You have to get in, release the spin, get out, and you don't have time to mess around.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate. Like Relkin basically got completely bamboozled. Trying to hit the switch because he got button beat the first time, and then he had to go back, and then he got button beat the second time. While the button beating doesn't have to, it doesn't actually deal any damage, but it's just like again, everything's gonna happening at once, and then taking damage, and again,
Sorry,
health is
Relkin,
the most.
It doesn't actually have to flip the first switch. So.
All right, we're gonna do spooky again.
Because the dungeon got reset. The switches, the peg switches, are reset back to their eventual.
That's
pattern.
right. Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to forget that if you walk through without going to that room on the left to hit the switch the first time, then the blue pegs will be up, and you don't want that. So he did the thing, but then luckily immediately remembered to switch it back.
Yeah, it's like going and being.
Oh goodness!
Oh no!
Just please.
Oh, Vitreous.
All right.
Yeah, sorry, Relkin.
We've made it through.
We did. Relkin takes down Vitreous for his revenge. Absolute, great, comfortable fight. We are gonna go on to Turtle Rock, where Eri has already gone. He has already gotten all of his nice drops. Actually, full.
That fairy grab. That fairy grab was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Nice chomps. Comfy dungeon.
Oh yeah.
Nothing can go wrong from here.
You certainly think chances are looking better that you won't just get completely wrecked in this dungeon. Yes, after that fairy pickup. Of course, that fairy is no coincidence. I think all the way back in Castle Tower when we had the room with the very fast 2 moving blue guards with the small key. So Eri and Relkin both dash killed those guards to try and not advance the prize back solely because we can keep them here with the pokies. So we can
everything in this dungeon does 4 hearts. It's great.
Yep, save the fairy. No, yep. Eri just demonstrated for us that yes, everything does in fact, as you said, do 4 hearts of damage. And that's why we picked up Senkar, right? Now we have an additional 1 heart.
We have 9 hearts still. Like we can take 2 more hits and be fine.
Everything's fine.
Are we gonna get there? Oh no, he ran into it. Oh,
that was so close.
Now.
It's okay. It's like a half drive through.
Sorry, Matt.
There's like 2 windows that we have to go through. We only got through the first one.
Yeah. I hate it when they open up the first window.
Yeah, I don't even know what the purpose of the second window is.
Have you ever like driven past the first window and they yell at you?
Yes, I have, because it wasn't clear that you were supposed to be there. All right, okay. We got crystal. We got boost for crystal roller. We don't need to, in fact, use the bomb because we don't really want to use any more bombs. Eri was also nice enough to avoid the 8 bomb drop. I mean, not that it actually really matters.
I was a little concerned that squeeze was kind of tight, but Eri manages it without taking a hit, so that's good.
Yeah, and it looks like I think we have just enough magic, right? So he didn't get the big magic drop, but we
had. I don't think Eri usually uses a Samaria block in the laser room, but it's there if he wants it. So, like that's an option that people use to get the beetle out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Eri will probably get in here, dash through, everything's fine. Slash the beetle out of the way.
You see, it's just karma. See, like the beetle was also taking the laser, to its face and also doing 4 hearts of damage. That's why
that beetle does 2 hearts, and I didn't know that until one time I was on a run and I only had 2 hearts left.
Really?
And then I wasn't on a run.
That's a very sad discovery.
Yeah.
All right, Relkin's
now
gonna
I
make his way
know.
through.
So
yes.
now we're fine. All right, Harry's probably gonna do his. Oh, actually, this is all right. He gets it. It's fine. Everything's okay. Menus solve all problems.
That's why menus are important. Yeah. So
That's
I just see
right.
in this case that Eri did some poke dashes with the sword. Just gonna save that extra magic usage, so we don't have to wait for the magic refill at the end. Nice. Nice kill on your side.
Yeah, very nice. Question to the chat, but specifically Melmo. Does that beetle do 2 hearts because it's the red beetle or because it's the dark world? I don't know the answer to this.
There are other red beetles in this game, right? In Pod, right?
Yeah, there's red beetle in Pod.
Heart?
There's a red beetle in Hera. I assumed the red beetle in Hera does 1 heart, but I don't know.
Yeah, there's a red beetle in upstairs Hera. It's one of the ones that chase you, like up the stairs. Well, tries to chase you up the stairs.
My favorite is when it just falls into the pit by itself.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Alright, that is crystal number 7 down for Eri. No boss seems to be able to stop him. This guy is on fire. Not only because he had the fire rod, he will actually just keep going to GT.
Yeah, Relkin gets through Poke's 1 with a very nice strat. And saves all his health, so he will be able to do the super fast crystal roller. How far off of world record pace are we, is the question.
What is world record? Is it 120 or 122 50?
It's a good question. According to the leaderboards, it's Aries 123 flat. There have been runs, there are known runs that have hit 122 in the past. But they
122.49. Alright, thanks, Fox.
One was unverifiable and the other was removed from the leaderboard for reasons we won't get into here.
Oh right, I think like was it the 122.49 one that was actually unverifiable? I could be wrong. I haven't kept up with all of them, but yeah, I think there was something like
it's the accepted fastest run, but the recording was literally unverifiable. So
yeah, something happened to the internet, and then there was no local recording. It was very sad by all.
Yep.
All right, but I think there
are known. Yeah. There are known. There's like 3 known 122 runs.
Yeah, but at least according to Eri actually kind of alluded to how far are we potentially off of 122 rate for him. It is 7 seconds. So according to the split after exiting Turtle he is plus 6.8. So if we can save 7 seconds somehow, we are going to get a 122.
The best possible time is right down there. It does say 122.44. I won't say that's the most likely thing to happen, but it could.
All right, Relkin's made his way to
this dungeon though. Like he's into bombable floor just over 2 minutes. And good clip aside from throwing the bomb there. That's fun.
We didn't need that extra time. Yeah. And so it's okay. I mean, so it is probably. Correct me if I'm wrong. It is probably faster to get those arrows in the chest before you drop down. But I mean, like, there's also arrows here behind, Ice Armos as well. So
yeah, Mike's chest is I'm gonna say 10 to 20 frames faster than getting this chest right here. It's not a lot, but it is faster to do that room.
Yeah.
Optimally.
Yeah, also in order to get the chest, I guess, like, quickly also seems to be... It requires a little bit of timing and practice as well. I mean, everything requires timing and practice, but you also don't want to get hit by the anti-fairy as well. There are magic pots here in that room that Eri just passed, so if you do get hit, you can get some of your magic back, because you do want a full bar when you climb, but still, everything just takes a little bit of extra time as well. Health is at this point, yes, like, you obviously don't want to die here. The 1 heart that you probably take to the anti-fairy is probably not going to be it's probably not going to be the ultimate run breaker for you. By you, and I don't mean like you personally, I just mean like, the general you.
Right. The general you.
Ooh, relkin.
Every
Saying
cloud.
that yeah.
And still 126 for sure.
All right. All right. Good luck, relkin. Climbing the gauntlet. Or sorry, we have to go get the big key first, and then we can climb. All right. So actually, speaking of those, so health is we don't actually necessarily want full health going up the gauntlet. We actually, again, just like Mothula, we want our temper sword to be in full effect. We do not want sword beams, and sometimes it is very difficult to get temper sword damage when you're also basically at full health as well.
Yeah, it's a weird sort of thing that sword beams can just kind of get in your way. They also cause lag in those rooms because there's lots of sprites on the screen.
Yeah. Good point.
But nice, clean Lambo 2, easy one cycle.
Yeah, very well done on Aries' side. You know, we did have to see that he had to actually avoid the fireball. We do not have the fire shield, so he will take damage. Can't just clink on those things.
Yeah, the 122 is looking a little grim right now. But that's okay. That's not the objective right now.
No, so long as you're happy with the run, I mean, or reasonably satisfied, and of course, this being a race situation, you probably care about the actual race results as a first priority. But still, still think things can happen. I mean, while maybe again like this, that bomb throw was probably unforced, on Aries' side. The gauntlet maybe would have gotten a little bit smoother. Ultimately, like we end up getting like 10 warps or something like that from Ganon. It's like, well, there's not really kind of much he could have done to begin with.
Exactly. Yeah, world record is kind of out of Aries' hands at this point.
It's okay. Still, I mean, extremely great run though on Aries' side throughout.
Nope,
right,
nice job getting away from that.
Yeah,
there. Relkin does do pull off the Mike's chest grab while Eric waits for his hover here. Very nice.
Yeah, definitely don't need to wait to go kill Moldorm 2. We don't need to have to deal with him. We don't have to wait for the explosion. We don't have to wait for the chest to spawn.
We get a nice bumper effect. What's not to like?
Yeah, you can actually see that relkin does not need those arrows in the back. We're going up with 12. Should be sufficient. And then, of course, yeah, like the mimics seem to more often than not drop good arrows for you. Basically right in your path.
That's not a good sign, Mary.
Oh, alright. Alright, yeah, looks like Aries just slightly ahead of us.
Doable.
No. Oh.
I hate to
of course,
see it.
we need.
All right,
okay, we got
we got
the triple. We got the 3 cycle. Yes.
Yeah, I think we're just out of reach at this point. It's very close, but I don't think we're gonna be able to get there. Unless Doom, you want to like channel all of the super crazy YOLO cape spin and blue spin stuff.
Is it possible?
I don't think so.
Okay, I thought.
Well, according to his golds, it is.
Oh, okay. Well, because I thought it was 140. Oh, is it?
It will. Yeah, it can still.
Did Eric get a bad pattern or something? Is that what happened?
He missed the downward facing Ganon, which would have saved a handful of frames on this.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, he got the 1-1. I think that's what's the important part.
Yep. All right. Well, we got 1 warp so far, so we might be done. We might be. If this keeps up, this could be a 123 OX. Which is very nice. Which is
ridiculous, by the way.
Absurd is what it is. Let's be real. Oh no, we're just not even gonna bother this.
It's okay. Well, we still got torch glitch. That is
good.
Important.
Not only got torch glitch, but he kept the Ganon teleport synchronized to the torch cycle.
Nice.
So that's extremely comfortable.
Yeah, doing quite well. Just some rhythmic movements. So you're trying to get some triples in for every cycle. Yeah, but this run has been absolutely ridiculous on Aries' side. I mean, not only that, like, this is a race setting. I mean, so it's been said that if you're probably within, like, 1 minute right, within your PB on a race setting or just a normal given run, that is already like a phenomenal job, right? And Eri,
Meanwhile, Eri is going to be within 10 seconds of his
amazing.
PB.
I mean, this is like absolutely. I mean, not only that, I mean, his PB is a freaking 123. He is within, like, as you said, 10 seconds, which is absolutely bonkers. Like, just shows you just how good Eri is. Big GGs to Eri. Absolutely crushing this race, crushing his race performance. Holy frick.
Yeah, 3 years ago, that would have been a world record right there.
Absolutely ridiculous of a run. Man.
Maybe even 2. No, not quite. Exceptionally nice run.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, while this is not like, you know, a technical PB, like on Eri's side, it may as well be like kind of ridiculous performance.
The high water mark has been set for this tournament.
Oh,
Let's put
yeah.
it that way.
All right, Relkin, on the other hand, is he getting bullied here by Moldorm?
That's all right. It wasn't too bad. It was a little touch and go, but getting the sidecar by the way. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
should have taken more damage to escape.
Other than taking like that extra little bit of like getting bullied just a little tiny bit, but everything else was fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Relkin, had a great light world, basically leading up to, well, Aga Tower. I mean, there were a couple of rooms that kind of hicked up, and then, but I mean, otherwise, his light world was great. I mean, you actually saw how on pace and synchronized Eri and Relkin both were, like, basically within a screen or two of each other the entire time, which was really great to see.
Yeah, it was a well-run race by both runners.
Mm-hmm. All right, Relkin ends up getting, got at least last energy shot, which is what we need. We don't need another cycle for Aga.
Now we just have one more reasonably quick fight. Is this the longest screen in the entire game? I think it is, but it's also a boss fight, so it kind of just doesn't count.
Wait, really?
I think so. I think it's longer than the entirety of Zora's Domain. It's a 2-minute fight.
Oh, okay. You're right. There's no way we can actually speed this one up. I was even thinking like to all the other boss fights too, but I guess like even
most of the boss fights in this game are like 20 seconds though. Mm-hmm. I think the longest non-Ganon boss fight is Trinex at about 40. Argus plus cutscene could be slower. Yeah. The Argus fight itself is like 20 seconds. The Trinex fight is close to 40. Most of them are.
This is why Sankar, by the way, Sankar for the win.
This
is why we pick it up. Oh, that was real scary. All right. Well, Welkin's also getting an absurd number of warps as well. Okay, thank you, Ganon. Can we move on to the fourth phase?
Are
we would like to talk to these guys.
Is that what we're doing? The spins are entirely unnecessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just want to finish.
All right, we have gotten there. All right, we get a nice comfy pattern here.
Nice.
There we go, and we're synchronized. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this should be
all right, so
familiar.
minus the like infinity warps, we got the optimal phase 4. Although we did miss that one spin, that's unfortunate.
He's got heartbeats of encouragement to get him the rest of the way through.
That's right. Slash for good measure.
Yeah.
All right, 4.5 spins to go.
All right, I'm not scared at all. Well, I mean, he's definitely not in danger of dying or falling off, or in that matter, it just always gets a little bit spooky when he's like right next to the fire. But that's it. That is good for.
It feels dangerous.
Mm-hmm. That is a big GG's to Relkin. Finishing here. We can get an official time.
127.19 according to race time.
127. All right.
Guys.
Yeah. GG's. Relkin played extremely well, like basically throughout the run. Minor hiccups at first, at least starting probably Aga Tower. That Vitreous situation was just really, really terrible. Other than that, though, looked great to me.
And it looks like we are joined by both of our runners. GG's, guys.
Yo, Eri, Relkin, big GG's.
Yo, jeez, relkin.
Yo, GG's, dude, man. I like you absolutely destroyed and nearly PB'd, which is nuts. So hats off.
Yeah, thanks. I have zero. I mean, being so close, of course, there are a couple complaints about the run, but like just getting these times is always a great feeling. I can't complain. In a race setting, it's double nerves. So
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy. I mean, you had a really good light world, and then I don't know if you guys were watching, but you guys had dueling 2-cycle Lambos. That was really cool to see. But Eri, you just kept going. I mean, it's just like everything. Just got one blue ball, which is like, okay, this is auspicious. We can keep going, and then you just tore Dark World up, basically.
yeah, the Dark World was absolutely insane for the most part. This is actually my best Dark World ever, by a second. So that's super cool. Yeah, Light World was Light World was fine, but I had the one fall in the Dark Pits and Aga Tower. Otherwise, it would have been like 5 or 6 seconds faster. But yeah, overall, well, like with one blue ball, it was sub 29 Light World, so I really can't complain about that. And then, yeah, like Dark World was just like obviously pod helps a lot, and the rest of the splits were solid to good, but there were still plenty of mistakes. But it just happens in a race setting, and yeah, you're trying to push yourself, but also not too hard, because like if you then make a mistake, it's like double over.
Yeah, that's I mentioned that a couple of times. It's like he's going for. I can see the push for the PB, but like at the end of the day, like it's also a race. So like, what's your priority here? How do you have to balance that somehow?
No balance, just go.
I mean that is a strat. That is a valid strat for sure.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm not sure what my best like head pull time is, but that was a 23:29, I think. So my light world was just crazy, and then I blew it all in Aga Tower, so it turned into an okay light world.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. I think. Go ahead.
It's like 22-1x, like any 22-1x Hera is like comfy 123. Like, I mean, it's super early to say, of course, but like as a 123 runner, I was really happy about any 22-1x I got. So like you being plus 10 over some of the best out of Hera is really good. And was
I'm pretty sure you were less than 10 seconds behind Eri leaving Tower of Hera, which is insane.
Yeah, it was like 6 seconds difference. It was nuts. I have my Armos issues that cost me a couple seconds, and then Hera was fine. But I mean, I'm still not going to complain about the 22:13. So,
but yeah, I mean, Relkin was also, you were like -4 leaving Ice Palace. I think that's also really good. Somewhere in that neighborhood. You were definitely green at one point in the middle of the race. I saw that.
I was ahead coming out of Skull, and I think I was behind coming out of Ice.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah, because of the IPBJ, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Game is tough.
Yeah,
there's still. I mean, there's a lot of things that have to go right to get a 123 OX. So
yeah,
even getting to where you got, like even after the Vitreous, the whole like leading up to Vitreous and the Vitreous fight was unfortunate, but like everything else you did was fantastic for the most part, right? Like I don't think there was anything you could have really done differently.
I could have not died to Vidi. That's what I could have done differently.
That's fair.
Yeah, you were put in a pretty tough situation, like almost immediately. I don't even know if you were like mentally prepared to basically win, because you just suddenly were down to 5 hearts, and then
I've never made that mistake there in that room. That was a new one, so that one definitely just made me more tilted. And I almost
yeah.
got the 5-heart Vidi fight anyway, but then I had stayed in this line too long in the final spin.
Yeah, it was close. I mean, the last one, like when you and I did the vanilla preset race and we both did 5-heart Vitreous fights, we at least had like the majority of Mire Basement to just be, okay, this is going to be fun. Only having that one room to like mentally prepare yourself can't be, it's not easy to do. You have to like recenter so quickly. It's just so difficult.
Yep. All right, guys, I need to run. Thank you for the restream and commentary.
Yeah, this was great. Thank you so much, Relkin, for racing. I mean,
GG's
I guess you
again.
guys, you did quite well. Just minus the Vitreous, but that probably was like that was probably the one major thing.
Yeah, GG's again, Area. Thanks for the great race. What a what a nail biter.
Yeah, thank you so much, and yeah, good luck on the next rounds. And
Yeah,
see you next week.
See you next week.
Yeah, I think everyone here is gonna go to SGL. We're pretty excited, so we'll actually be able to probably see these things in person. And I think Eric was maybe saying that we actually might be able to get some Dark World or Tower of Hera races like in person.
Oh, that would be
pretty
awesome.
sweet. Yeah, definitely will be really looking forward to that.
Looking forward to it.
Maybe I can pull out another one of these.
Dude, that would be sick in person. Man,
Shut down
I gotta
people.
see Pod. I gotta see Pod. in
Live
person.
commentary of Ari just like destroying another person's soul. No, I'm kidding.
We'll figure out the
It'll be
restream
fun.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'll send you to
Yeah.
the Shadow Realm.
Thank you so much, Ari. This was you did. I mean, phenomenal race or phenomenal run from you. That was truly amazing.
Yeah, this is I mean, speaking of mistakes that never happened, like the mistake that's happened like 3 times in the past month now is that stupid bomb at Bumblefloor GT. Like, how does that happen every single time?
Where you threw it to the left.
Yeah, where I just throw it to the right and into the wall. It's like, okay, cool. At least I knew what the backup is, but it's still really silly.
I mean, at least you didn't need the arrow chest either.
No,
that
true.
That could have made it worse.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I really like having at least enough going into Ice Armos, but the chest is just nice to top it off.
Right.
But yeah, there were a couple of nerfs there. Like, I know, obviously I know what pace I'm on. But yeah, it was
certainly to behold.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to listen to the comms as well while we were racing. So thank you both so much, and thanks to ZSR and the restreamer for the restream.
Yeah, no, thank you, thank you for putting on a phenomenal performance. I mean, it was really cool, at least from my perspective, to be watching. Iraka, it was a pleasure to be able to do this.
Oh yeah, these are always great. I was glad this was a time that I could find after my race finished yesterday, I looked at the board and I was like, oh, there it is. I'm just jump on there. So
yeah, no, I'm really glad everything basically came together. So best of luck, of course, next week, Ari. Maybe in person, we'll see this. And of course, welcome too, if you're still out there listening. But yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing everybody here in person next week.
What Fox said in chat. Anybody else that is attendant to this community and wants to join in on calming these races, we are very highly encouraged to do so. It is a lot of fun. Don't let the anxiety get the better of you. Everybody can help out and have fun with this and talk about the stuff you do know and wonder at the stuff you don't, that the runners do, that makes you like, whoa, how did that work? But yeah, I think that'll just about do it for us tonight. This was a lot of fun. Thanks to ZSR for putting on this stream.
Yeah, thanks, Tobias. Take it off.
Our pleasure. And whoops, my voice is gone apparently. Yeah, I can only give the thanks back to you, Yerok, and Clearmouse, obviously, for your amazing and insightful commentary. Thanks to Eriror and Relkin as well for putting on a heck of a show. That was a race to behold and to kick off this tournament. To kick off this league season. So, what's left for us to do is to take a quick look at our schedule. We have a bunch of Z2R and Zelda 2 100% races up on the schedule. The next one, or the one that's already going, is a doubleheader, Elendar versus CS Tutor, games 1 and 2, and that is exactly where I'm sending you all right now, over on Zelda Speedruns 2. And I want to say thank you all for watching, and we'll see you soon here on the Zelda Speedruns family of channels for more Link to the Past randomizer, and so many more Zelda game content. Bye, everyone!